I have 3 things on my mind today. What are they? 1. Arc Raiders. I'm at the point of like the trials thing when you're like a level 15 and higher. I'm level 16 right now. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with those. I don't know. Anyhow, that's my first one. Second thing. My second thing is I want to do my bridge for my independent study. So probably just copy someone's bridge and then see how that goes. And then through this week, make it my own. Watch the people crossing on the left is what I have to do. Because it will turn green. Like I just said, it did turn green. And I'm gonna watch this guy. This guy is doing stuff. I wasn't signaling, I'm sorry. Anyhow, what's my third thing? My third thing is going to media and ethics class. Yeah. I can't, I don't really have anything else to say, because that's what we're doing today. And I think what I need to do is just like read up on what I'm supposed to do, because if not, so I'm gonna skim like the best person I could do. You know, yesterday was a fumble, but I think my fourth thing I wanna do is edit my videos. Me when I need to I leave the stack. Me when I leave the stack there. I do like this progression that I have with my videos that I have not shown, but it's going to be shown, I swear, is the change in the leaves. It's very nice to see. You're like, oh wow, that happened there? And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Not much else. I'm like, it's day 3. I think I'm so used to the routine now of making the videos, but not posting the videos. And I can understand that because it's not my holistic priority to post the videos. And it's my opportunities to make the videos, like make a video like this on my phone. But I'm sort of, I don't even think I'm procrastinating. I think I have just like a tier list like Mr. Terrific, where I have these things in my head and I'm like, is this guy on the right is gonna move to the left, bet. And he didn't even signal, you know? Sometimes we like that. That's fine. There was also someone behind me, so it's fair. And then look, I moved it. It's like, oh man, I didn't know. That's fair. But the leaves be falling, talking, cheeking. It's like, is this what Nathan does when he has no like idea like what he is going to do? And it's like, I guess so. But it's kind of jarring. Oh, it's so buzz. See, right here, you have to stop a little bit. Stop, and then you turn. And over here, if you want to go to your left, you're like, stop. Because there's crazy cars over here. And then we're done. Happy crafting. Okay. Is that a booger? I gotta throw that away. I gotta throw a tissue away. I'm not even gonna show you the tissue. It's kind of gross. What did I learn today? Well, I'm gonna get Mickey D's. Mickey D's. They're the same as McDonald's. Tom would know. That's a deep cut. I learned about disabilities and the representational aspects about them and how they're portrayed in media. It was just discussion about that, like what is some good ways it's portrayed, some bad ways it's portrayed, and honestly I didn't really think of any until like some people like pointed out like Barbara Gordon or just really Batman or Criminal Minds and sad movies or enhancements like Daredevil, Moon Knight. Some things that come up to mind, and also the brother from Alien Romulus. That was a good throw one. That one was like, oh, that's interesting. I think for me, if I had to think about now, I think it would be like Furiosa with her arm enhancement. I think that would be interesting. I'm weirdly thinking like Alita Battle Angel. Then I'm like, okay. I think about like Avatar. Is the main character like in a wheelchair, and then he has now he has an Avatar body where he can walk. Those types of people. Or like this is the woman with like those things. I think I'm also thinking of like Wonder, like Augie, and that Limelight, like the astronaut thing. I'm like, oh, okay. In video games, representational wise, I think of not like Life is Strange, but like those like storytelling type of games, like What Happened to Edith Finch, like type of games. Well, I'm sort of like, huh. Interesting. But I don't really see Baby Steps? I've seen a lot of Baby Steps. No. That'd be very crude if I said Baby Steps. But I don't think there's a lot of games. Then I'm thinking of like Happy Wheels, right? That's insane. That's an insane pull. But I'm like, I think you ride as a wheelchair and you go and you do like tricks and whatnot on that. Is that Carter? Carter. That's Carter. Okay. He needs to do the part thing. Okay. But like mental disabilities. I think of Jane from the Doom Squad. I think of the magicians, the dean with the glasses. I'm coping with that. Or just magic following the magicians in general. What else do I think? Murderbots was a thing that Camila said. I didn't know what Murderbots was. A Taskmaster, Mythbusters, like those impressionistic things. Weirdly enough, I was gonna say like South Park. The one guy in crutches. I feel like that would have been crude though. I also thought of the one person in the wheelchair in Wicked, but I haven't seen Wicked, so I can't really speak on that to say so much about what it is. But it makes me like really like think about overall the appeal to enhancements with disabilities portrayed in media, and the interesting parallel on how to tell a story in the long run. because she said, with the idea of how can you tackle that well, is simply from like long form or understanding the backstory of an individual. That's why it feels like with influencers, for her, she said this, is that it feels real and it's the most tangible thing because they share their experience, like, oh, I'm still struggling with this, oh, this is how I overcome this. But with like a story narrative, it's sort of like I think with those types of beats, I really feel that but it's not conveyed obviously, but like in shows like Chief of War or The Last Kingdom, Uturil Bebeba. So you understand the story. You don't know who they are initially, but you understand the story with them, and over time the relationships they have with other people, and just that dissection of that with how you curate someone who has disabilities in a media, and to understand that, and to make that like a focus point, more particularly like how they've gone through it, is an interesting thing. I think there's also forms of like, is it all just physical disability that is just mental? Or like Professor X with like his wheelchair. But then we did the game assignments for the rest of the class, and I paired with Steve. And initially, he said the easier route is like a gradient mobile game where you get to just do this pyrotrinotomy from Uki, which I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, wow. I know the idea of color blindness, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of, this guy's whole thing is about the perception of like how you see things, not just in games, but just like breaking it down from like those people who have color blindness. But he said that was the easy route, so then I had to think of a harder one, and I took some time to just like in the silence, like, okay. And then I said something, because as usual, that's how you just do it. And I was thinking of Uno, and the idea of Uno, of how can that be represented from like a full blind person, and how they would play it. And we've experimented with like the idea of Braille. Well, I said Braille. The texture and hole punches, and the cards being 2 layered, so that way the backing is covered from the actual types of like hole punches or textures that it shows off. And I think some of the downsides a little bit is like how it's going to be stacked against one another, and to avoid like edge clipping, like the edges. Yeah, I think that's like an easy one to do. If we don't do that one, I was weirdly thinking when I left the class, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe a dice game, maybe like a Yahtzee game. And then for the Yahtzee game, you sort of have to put batteries, and it tells you like 6 points, 8 points. You're like, damn, and then you write that down. Oh, interesting. Like audibly. But then how do you work around people who can't hear? And you're like, oh, you can't solve it. You know, imagine though, and you'd be like, wow, interesting. But yeah, I think. Ooh, I'll pause. I know I have one person that in my OC lineup who, it's not Jeanette Runa. I forgot her name. But she's a part of the squad where like they're like Attack on Titan almost, and that's what he's one on. But she has like her arm off, and she has like an enhancement, and it's the kind of one of those weird things where I think about Luke Skywalker. I think when his arm gets cut off by his father, I think, and he has an enhancement. I think it's a weird, fascinating thing about the idea of an enhancement and what's her ideology about that. I think that really makes her like a fleshed out character now I think about it, if I did that. because I think at the time when I was thinking about her as a character, I think I was just thinking about Full Metal Alchemist, like the one guy who has like the arm thing, because it was like betweening the same time as Attack on Titan. But with just a story analysis of people who, very generic but simply, like if you're like in a wheelchair and you have to, like, how do you tell a story from that? And I think I'll find it interesting that, is there like a movie like that? With someone who goes through, not like a documentary, like, but like their life. Or you have Shazam, right? With those types of people with disabilities and how that's focused on that superpower. Capacity. I think not Billy Batson, but his foster relatives, I think one of them has like crutches too, and he has the ability to fight or something, or like the ignorance behind it of like feeling more powerful than not, and just that power behind that is interesting. Of family. But no, I think, and I was thinking the one time when I went to a con with Nylan, like not Comic-Con, but like it was in the Seattle area, and there was this one panel section of like obscure like Power Rangers or like Sailor Moon characters, and there's one with like a floating chair, and then she has like a vehicle that is like her floating chair that's adapted to that, and I'm like, what is this obscurity? So I was thinking about that during that time. I was like, I don't know specifically, but now I think about, a weird thing. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like an Air Bud movie where someone has like a wheelchair, or like those competition movies where like they have to go skate and then they're on the wheelchair skating. You're like, wow. And I feel like I've seen that somewhere, but I don't, it just would be like, whoa, that's like a fun movie. That, sure. Also the God of War, the head, that's what Camille also said, like, is also a really good depiction of how disabilities are not just capped to like who you are, but like can like also outshine in personality. And I think I also saw, what was it, a Borderlands character who's in a wheelchair of some sort, and there was like poking fun at that, but not in a crude way, but like in a, when someone was like, huh, but you can't stand up, and then it like opens up to like the female in a wheelchair, or like a floating wheelchair, I don't know. But I can imagine the idea of a mental trauma seems to me more like a loss for like an individual. As of now, what it feels like. But I think what should be more interpreted is the idea of having to live with something that coexists with you, that you don't, or is not innately natural to everyone else. Not like a ghost phenomenon, but more or less so something that feels off. Like voices in your head. And I think that's like, not like Moon Knight, but just, or like Venom, right? Just that, almost that duality of like, okay, and trying to coexist with that, and still living with that. I think that's like the closest thing, but it'd be fascinating to like explore that with like my OCs. If I think I have one. It's a guy who's in a wheelchair, and he has like an upper body strength. So he uses that as that ability. I remember drawing that, but I haven't fleshed them out as much. So yeah, I'm at McDonald's, I'm gonna give it food, but then after that, I'm going to edit my videos. Yes. The first video I have to do is just upload it and then just do the caption stuff. Not gonna lie, that's what it is. And then I can feel like, oh yeah, that's great, and then I can worry about how the stuff happens or not. So, see you when I see you. A lot of leaf blowing going on today. Why did I stop here? Why did you not go back to your apartment? Well, I wanted to show off this. This is the Chip Ahoy drink. Chip Ahoy Frap. Which I'm like, I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll try it. And then, of course, I got 3 of the hot and spicy McChickens. I can't with myself. I think it's very nice. I think it's very good. That's why I ranked it high. I might rank it more higher. But I just want to try this and see how this is. Interesting. It definitely feels like a Starbucks Frappuccino. When I licked it initially, it was very rich, like dark chocolate rich. I'm like, okay. This smells like, ooh. There's like a little bit, not like a little bit of bitter taste. It's more, not raunchier, but earthier to the taste. And then now tasting this, with the crumbles on top in mind, I feel that texture. It does feel like, though, like you put a cookie in a Frappuccino. It's like, what does that mean? You don't have to have Chips Ahoy. It's like a graham cracker in milk type of vibe. Like if you have a graham cracker, you put it in milk, but then the milk is a little bit caffeinated. It's like, what is the taste of caffeination? Like, it's like a light milk, and then you feel like a little buzz. Like, you feel a little buzz on it. But overall, I would rate this Chips Ahoy drink. It's like a fun drink. It feels like a fun drink. It doesn't feel like I would get this reoccurringly. So a 9 out of 10. If you don't like a frap, I would say this feels like a 7 out of 10. If you're liking fraps and you like a cookie, a 9 out of 10. So the median would be an 8 out of 10. And then again, I'm just gonna go eat this. This is not my McGriddle moment. This is my hot and spicy McChicken moment. And I don't know. It's fairly simple, but it's spicy. Spicy simple. Like, look at that. It's like, it's so simple. It's just a bun, this, and lettuce. They're so good. It just has the right amount of heat to it. 9 out of 10. But I feel like if you can't handle the heat, I could say it's an 8. But for me, with the heat, and it's like, if it's not paired with a drink, then it sort of feels like an 8. But yeah, I should also mix it. Let me mix it. I'll mix. Mixing. It looks cool too. I don't know.
9 out of 10 for me. Yeah, this is good. This is my daily order then. Okay, now I'm gonna go to my apartment. Or I'm gonna eat here. That's right, I'm probably just gonna eat here, so I'll do that.